Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways.
50 Cent just straight up clowned Big Meech after the latest bombshell reports surfaced.
I see that Meech home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech home, the streets back. That's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it.
Rumor is Rick Ross supposedly finessed him out of a mind-blowing $120 million deal.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better. I will buy your masters.
Ross kept bragging about blockbuster movies and massive opportunities, but when it came time to deliver, he brought nothing to the table. Now Meech is left looking broke and embarrassed, while 50 turns the whole situation into pure comedy for the world to laugh at.
Yeah, so look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director?
Some fans are even saying the only way this beef ends is if Meech laces up gloves and actually steps in the ring with 50. Picture that headline. But let's rewind to how this mess really started. When Big Meech walked away from the streets, he thought his comeback was going to be legendary. That's when Rick Ross swooped in, selling dreams that sounded too good to be true. He hyped a $120 million movie deal, massive projects, the full package, and the receipts don't lie. There's even footage of Ross making those promises loud and clear. For a minute, it looked like Meech was finally about to turn his street legend status into major cash. Instead, Ross served nothing but smoke and mirrors. He basically used Meech's name to throw shade at 50, his longtime rival, without ever putting up a single dime.
To my homie, F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, it's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big.
He dangled Hollywood dreams like bait. But the truth? It was really 50 Cent who came through. He bankrolled the BMF show, paid for Lil Meech's acting classes, and gave him the platform to shine. Meanwhile, Ross? Just empty talk and free clout. And don't think it's just 50 saying this. People close to him are backing it up too. Tony Yayo laid it all out with zero hesitation. This feud's getting nastier by the day, and you already know you don't want to miss what's coming. Next, reports are now saying Big Meech feels frustrated, broke, and finally realizing Ross only attached himself just to take jabs at 50 Cent. Ultimate embarrassment. Because instead of leveling up, Meech is out here looking like nothing more than a pawn in somebody else's petty beef. And trust me, those fake promises, that was just the warm-up. Things really spiraled once Meech's own son got dragged straight into the chaos. After those leaked texts where Lil Meech was allegedly caught saying "fuck Ross," you'd think he'd keep his distance, right? Wrong. Just days later, cameras catch him partying it up with Rick. Ross at the club like they're best friends. Make it make sense. That viral clip had everybody talking. Lil Meech and Ross side by side, whispering in each other's ears, posing for pics, grinning big while the room glowed in red lights. It felt less like a rivalry and more like a reunion. And of course, 50 Cent wasn't about to let that slide. He jumped online with one of his savage troll jokes, claiming Ross told Lil Meech to hand over his dad's address so he could send some Wingstop wings. Brutal. But here's the thing. That joke wasn't just comedy. It was a message. 50 was. Basically saying Ross isn't building anything for Meech, just tossing him scraps like fast food leftovers. And if you thought that was harsh, buckle up. Out of nowhere, 50 dropped a now-deleted post exposing that he personally had to send Lily, Meech, to rehab. That bombshell shocked everybody because this wasn't trolling anymore. It was receipts from behind the curtain. The story just kept getting wilder. 50 claimed Lil Meech was showing up to set so lit that he even threw up during a weapons test. And if that wasn't messy enough, they allegedly found whippets in his truck. 50 even joked that he had to Google what whippets were. He painted himself as the one stepping up to keep Lil Meech on track while his own father was out here cheering on the same destructive habits. And this wasn't just talk. Remember, Lil Meech even got himself arrested at an airport. That right there spoke volumes about the chaos surrounding him. Once 50 put all this out there, fans started questioning everything. Did 50 actually save Lil Meech's career from collapsing before it even began? And if so, why on earth is Meech cozying up to Rick Ross now? The whole situation wasn't adding up. Then, boom, another voice entered the chat and turned the heat up even higher. Michael Rainey Jr., the actor we all know as Tariq from Power, went live and didn't hold back one bit. A fan asked him if he felt bad for Lil Meech, and instead of dodging or being politically correct, Michael went straight savage mode. He said exactly what he felt, no filter. That clip spread like wildfire. And who reposted it with a laugh? None other than 50 Cent. He even doubled down in the caption, stamping his approval on Michael's words. The message was loud and clear. 50 was fully riding for his power star while pushing the Meech is weak narrative harder than ever. And for Meech, the timing was awful. It made him look like he was losing respect not just from fans, but from everyone in 50's inner circle. This drama was snowballing out of control. And trust me, you don't want to miss the next twist. The truth is, all this smoke had been brewing since Big Meech's failed Welcome Back concert. When he came home, the streets expected fireworks, a massive comeback stacked with rap legends, but instead of keeping 50 in the mix, the man, who literally turned his story into a TV empire, Meech leaned on Rick Ross instead. There's even a clip of them hyping the event, making it look like it was going to be legendary. But guess what? The concert never even happened. That was the breaking point. 50 went off, accusing Meech of cutting deals with the feds and blasting him across social media. Fans started questioning his whole image as a street legend, and teaming up with Ross only made it uglier. To the public, it looked like Meech traded loyalty for clout. And 50 wasted no time flipping that into non-stop posts, turning the so-called comeback into the exact moment people stopped riding with Meech. His credibility was slipping fast, and that's when Meech decided to clap back. He posted an old throwback pic of him with 50, but here's the kicker. He slapped a giant rat emoji over 50's face. No guessing game, he was straight up calling 50 a snitch. And he didn't stop there. He doubled down, calling 50 an internet gangster, basically saying he's nothing but a keyboard warrior who trolls from behind a phone. At that point, this wasn't just rap beef anymore, it was full-on disrespect going public. And trust, the fallout was nasty. Rick Ross piled on too, mocking 50 for being salty about the link-up. Fans saw it as a straight-up tag team move, Ross co-signing Meech just to poke the bear even harder. There's even a clip of Ross laughing at 50 being mad, like the whole thing was just a big joke at 50's expense. But here's the irony. 50 actually invested in Lil Meech's acting career, paid for classes, and gave him a real platform with the BMF show. Meanwhile, Ross only offered flashy photo ops. Yet somehow, Meech still leaned toward Ross. That contradiction had the internet buzzing, and then came the wildest rumor yet, that Meech actually wanted to fight 50 for real. After the rat post and Ross's non-stop trolling, the blogs lit up, with speculation about a possible boxing match between 50 Cent and Big Meech. Some fans said it'd be legendary, others said it was sad, like Meech had been reduced to chasing clout through celebrity boxing just to prove himself, and then came the kicker, Meech himself. When asked if he'd ever swing back, he hinted that he'd lace up the gloves if it came down to it. Even if he said it half-jokingly, the internet ate it up. The story spread like wildfire, fueling this feud even more. You couldn't scroll without seeing it. But just when the hype hit its peak, Wack 100 stormed in with a theory that flipped the whole narrative upside down. According to Wack, this beef wasn't really about loyalty or Rick Ross at all. It was about secrets. He claimed that Meech's own confidant, Tammy Cowan, once told 50 that Meech had actually cooperated with federal authorities in other street cases. And that kind of accusation? It can change the entire game in an instant. Stick with Juicy Reel and smash that subscribe button, because the next twist in this saga is about to get even crazier. In other words, Wack was hinting that Big Meech wasn't nearly as loyal to the code as people always believed, and that's where 50's whole snitch narrative really found its legs. But Wack didn't stop there. He doubled down, suggesting Tammy herself might have had reasons for turning against Meech. Maybe she felt abandoned when he got locked up. Maybe she was frustrated over him trying to claw back his life rights. The same rights he'd already signed over to 50 for the BMF series? If there's truth to that, it puts Meech in a dangerous corner, because it means the person closest to him might have been secretly feeding 50 the ammo the whole time. Wack framed it like betrayal laced with business gone sour. a deadly mix in this game. Now, whether Wack was speaking facts or just stirring for clout, one thing became obvious. It handed 50 even more firepower. And the fans? They ate it up. One of the wildest viral moments came when Big Meech popped out rocking Kanye West's iconic graduation jacket. At first glance, it looked like just a flashy fit, but the symbolism was impossible to miss. That's the same album that outsold 50 during their legendary 2007 sales battle. Some brushed it off as coincidence, but others swore Meech did it intentionally, like he was throwing shade at 50 by leaning into his past losses. Either way, the timing looked bad. It felt like Meech was doubling down on bad optics instead of protecting his image. And trust me, this saga is nowhere near slowing down. Subscribe to Juicy Reel so you don't miss the next explosive twist. Because if you thought the Kanye jacket stunt was the peak, think again. It only set the stage for even more chaos. After that moment, fans flooded the comments calling Big Meech out of touch, accusing him of chasing clout instead of repairing his reputation. The energy shifted fast. Instead of respect, people were laughing at him like he was the punchline of his own story. Then came 50's next move. He dropped another cold but deadly post. Side-by-side pictures comparing his BMF series cast to Big Meech's failed concert flyers. The message couldn't have been clearer. I made your story legendary, you tried, and you flopped. Savage. The internet went wild, turning it into memes and dragging Meech's comeback as nothing more than a joke. Meanwhile, Rick Ross kept throwing gas on the fire, popping up in comments, liking shady posts, even teasing that he might throw Meech in a music video just to get under 50's skin. Fans were clowning, saying Ross was treating Meech like a prop instead of a partner. And still Meech stayed by his side. The optics were terrible, like he was being passed around as a pawn in someone else's game.